Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Power Word Talk. My name is Tanner, and this is my co-host Casey. Today we have a couple little news articles to talk through, a couple talking points, and it will be about Tasha's Cauldron of everything for Dungeons and Dragons.
Hell yeah. Well, like, I'm excited about Tasha's Cauldron of everything.
Yeah, I don't actually know much about it, so we'll just read this, figure out what's in it, when it comes
Mhm.
out, and that kind of thing. So this is what we have. What wonderful witchery is this? What do you actually know about Tasha's?
So there's the book Xanathar's Guide to Everything, right?
Right.
And that book introduced a bunch of stuff like subclasses and various like rules to help flavor your game, more spells and stuff. So for the past year or at least several months, I can't remember, they've been releasing these articles called Unearthed Arcana,
Mm-hmm.
and that was basically just playtest material
Oh, for this.
for for this book.
I see.
So one that I've tried out is there's the magical tattoos. Those will be in this book.
Okay.
Um,
What do those do?
they they're just like magic items. Like one of them, it's called like the barrier tattoo, I think it is, and it's basically just like you're wearing armor, but
Hmm.
you're not.
Yeah.
So um, there's another one that when you activate it, it gives you like a 30-foot range on your melee attacks. I can't remember exactly how long that lasts for. I haven't seen my player
Huh.
use it that much, but it
That
also
sounds
makes your
strong.
your unarmed attacks magical while using it. So those are
Okay.
like just some kind of lower level ones that
I kind of like that though. Unarmed has never really been an option. In most cases, like unless you're a monk,
yeah.
that's pretty much it. So that's kind of interesting.
Well, and I let the Circle of Moon Druid use them, right?
So then
And
when they
like
transform, their beast
all your
becomes
wild
magical
shapes.
attacks. I mean,
Yeah,
you get that anyway at level
at level 6. Yeah,
6.
so
Yeah.
it's just like so the even the barrier tattoo works as well, but it's up to the player to make sure that they calculate the AC for their wild
Mm,
shapes
okay.
correctly, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
Um, yeah, so it ended up being like I think it was like the calculation was AC like 13 plus Dex or something. I think so, but some wild shapes they have better natural armor than that. So whatever you take the best calculation,
Hmm.
and then yeah, the other one it came up once like the druid was in bear form and something was like 30 or so feet away, and so she activated the tattoo and started hitting it from afar.
That's
It's
actually
pretty fun.
that sounds really strong, but really kind of needed, I guess, in that sense for a druid.
Yeah, I
So
think sometimes wild shape is a little bit boring,
yeah.
but it's strong, so it's kind of
Well,
up to me to make sure that the druid isn't steamrolling everything. But
yeah,
it's a fairly new player to the game, so there isn't really that much harm.
that's fair. I see also that we get new spells, artifacts, and obviously magic tattoos.
Yeah.
Um, I would assume a lot of the spells are the ones I've actually seen then, if they're the Unearthed Arcana.
Uh, I can't remember about any new spells in particular. I know spell lists for each class are
Hmm.
going to be expanded because druids can't use Revivify in the
Okay.
player's handbook, but
That's
now
kind of
they
silly.
can.
Yeah.
Now they can with Tasha's Cauldron of
Okay.
everything. I think the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is class feature variant. So like every class has like once you hit level 3, you get this ability and stuff. Like I can't remember when barbarians get danger sense, but
Oh, I
um,
see.
so the class feature variants will either offer you a replacement for a class feature,
Hmm.
or it will offer an enhancement to it.
That's pretty cool.
So an enhancement to the druid's wild shape is that you can expend a charge of your wild shape to cast Find Familiar. That was in the Unearthed Arcana. I don't know if that's making into
Hmm.
Tasha's Cauldron of
But
everything, but
that's
I
an
wouldn't be
example.
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised if that one made it in because it's just like it's pretty harmless, but
That's pretty
it's
cool.
like a nice addition to the class. So
Yeah. Hmm.
that'd be pretty cool. But I think the biggest changes come to the Ranger. I'm really excited to see
Oh.
what they actually end up finalizing for the Ranger because like if you think about the Ranger features such as like Natural Explorer and Favored Enemy,
Hmm.
it's like it's they're good abilities, but man, like if you say that mountains are your favorite terrain, but it's an urban urban setting from levels 1 to
Yeah.
20, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, that class feature doesn't really, it kind of sucks. So they offer a replacement to that. That's like,
Hmm.
there's one that gives you like a climbing and swim speed. Um, there is one, I can't remember the other two, but the other one is the favored enemy one. It says instead of choosing favored enemies, this trait just says you know the Hunter's Mark spell. You can cast it a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier, and it doesn't take concentration.
Oh, that's needed because Ranger honestly has been known for just being like they can do a lot of damage, but they're known for being pretty just limited or underplayed even, right? Like no one, anywhere you look, a lot of people just hate Rangers because of apparently how weak they are. From what I've noticed, they do a ton of damage, but then yeah, the versatility. I don't know. They've been fine honestly when I played with them, but maybe the subclasses are kind of meh.
The player's handbook subclasses are, I think their biggest weakness is that they don't give you like baseline spells like
Mm,
Horizon Walker and Gloomstalker. They expand your spell list,
yeah.
so you get like a couple spells every few levels. Whereas Hunter and Beastmaster, they don't give you that, so that's too bad.
Hmm.
So that's kind of part of what makes those kind of weak. But Hunter's still pretty good. Like we
Yeah.
have a Hunter in our D&D game. I told her that I gave her that class feature variant for favorite enemy. I just said like here, like you can use Hunter's Mark without concentration, and
Yeah.
you can use it up to your Wisdom modifier per long rest.
I'd say
And
that's pretty needed.
it's like it doesn't really hurt our game any.
Hmm.
Also, like the biggest reason why she does so much damage is because of sharpshooter. So
Yeah.
Hunter's Mark is just
I was gonna
Hunter's Mark
say,
and Colossus Slayer. Like it all adds up. Like it's pretty insane, but it's like the way that I balance my encounters, it ends up being okay.
well, I think you and me both agree that as far as feats and classes, like I feel like class features should be more impactful than a feat. A feat should be more supplementary than just
Mm-hmm.
like sharpshooter and great weapon master. You need them for some builds. You just like sharpshooter. You almost need if you're playing long range. Why
Yeah,
wouldn't you take it? It
yeah,
it extends your range like crazy, and then it completely gets rid of 3/4 half cover,
yeah.
which is I would say like crucial.
I kind of think that Great Weapon Master and Sharpshooter should be epic boons. I think it should be at the Dungeon Master's discretion to award those at some point because
I would,
they're just
yeah.
like maybe that's shitty of me to limit that in that way, like
Hmm.
because I know some people like more freedom to build their characters, but like
Yeah.
that's how powerful those are. Like
Well, there's sometimes when I'm building a character and the role I want to play is damage, and so I'm like, well, I have to go Great Weapon Master. I have to get a two-handed pole arm. I have to
yeah,
get pole arm master. Like it
yeah,
just leads into it so perfectly, and you can't beat it.
yeah,
Especially if you have multi attack with Great Weapon Master. Like, yeah, there's
yeah,
just no beating it.
for sure.
What else do we have in here? I noticed that it says a plethora of puzzles, which I don't know if any of the others have actually given puzzles.
I don't think they have. I think the Dungeon Master's Guide kind of talks about it a little bit, but like it
Not in
doesn't.
depth though.
It's like maybe some guidance on how to create your own, but this one's saying like they have created some. Here they are,
Yeah.
and I need those. Like that's why I like running adventure modules is because they have puzzles just already
Yeah.
made and ready for me to use, and it's like okay, like that's just so much easier on
Hmm.
me
Yeah,
now
no,
that I'm
I
going.
like that they kind of give you a guide too of how to slot them into other campaigns and how to build puzzles because it says they give guidance on using puzzles in a campaign.
Yeah,
Like I think that's like huge because like you there you can just throw a puzzle and be like you walk into a room and you have to solve a puzzle to get out, sure. But or you could have a more natural puzzle where I had one like this before which I thought was pretty good where you walk in and enemies start spawning. My favorite puzzles are when you don't know they're a puzzle. And you kind of have to figure it out as you go. It's more natural. It blends in. So I had it where my players were all destroying monsters and killing monsters. And basically there was a puzzle in the room that you had to complete for these monsters to stop spawning.
mm-hmm.
Right? It was timed, and it took some time before the players actually realized like they're just gonna keep spawning.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's good. I was a player in that, and I think I recognized it right away. But I was like
Yeah.
playing in characters. I was like, I'll let people I'll see if they can figure it out too. So I was just running to all the corners of the room, like, what do I see in here? Okay, there's this thing. I grab. Okay, so yeah, I kind of figured it out, and yeah, it was pretty good. I would do puzzles in initiative sparingly though, because taking turns in
I wouldn't do
combat
it every
sometimes.
time, but I thought in that sense, because I forget exactly what it was. You had to grab certain objects and bring them to the podiums. And you had to grab like 5 objects and bring them all to the podiums for the monsters to stop spawning. The monsters were just a distraction. You could have ignored them, grabbed everything, and just brought it there. I remember I kind of messed up that puzzle. I made it unsolvable by accident, but
yeah.
worked
But
my way
like
past it.
you found that we had the right idea, and then you just realized like, oh shit,
Yeah, you knew what to
something
do. Exactly, yeah.
So it worked out. It was still fun.
Yeah.
So that'll be good, because when I'm going off the rails, like I've departed from adventure modules for now, and trying to let my players explore the world of Eberron a little bit more freely.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh god, like how do I know how to make combat encounters. I think I can make combat encounters that are like challenging and sometimes interesting. But when it comes to the social encounters and the exploration encounters,
The social one is because it's so vast. The mechanics you would need for that are like super vast.
Yeah, so I think the social encounters will come with practice, just role playing with everybody. It's like it's a comfort thing. So
how much will this be, Tasha's? I see it comes out on November 17th. But let's see, it goes on Amazon. Amazon.com, it's $30, 40% off if you pre-order actually. I could go on Amazon. Yeah, sorry to cut you off. I just I didn't even think about how much it actually is.
Checking D&D Beyond, because that's probably going to be where I buy it.
I typed it in wrong or something. Tashas Cauldron. Oh, here we go. $40 from 65. Hardcover. See, the one big issue I have too is you buy it in person, and sure you may have it, but then you need to buy it on like Roll20 if that's how you play, just to use it or to have it incorporated with your compendium. It's like it's all divided. Or if you buy it on D&D Beyond, right? Like it's all divided up. You can't just have one thing and you get the digital version with it or anything. That's one thing that kind of irks me. But
I'd love to have the books, but it's just so much more convenient to myself and my players if I have everything on D&D Beyond unlocked.
Yeah, and then I would say like if I was to buy it, I would just buy it on Roll20, because then you can actually use it in the game with just clicking and dropping it in. You don't have to custom everything, which is kind of unfortunate, but
yeah, for laziness sake, I do buy it on both.
Yeah.
But we kind of share an account, so
yeah, and usually like on D&D Beyond, at least they give sales and stuff usually. If you can catch it, and like Christmas is coming up. This is obviously just before Christmas, so I'm sure they'll give an even better deal on that.
Yeah.
$40 though is a little pricey. I was considering 30, but I don't know if I'd pay 40 yet. Probably just find the rules online and then use it. I don't know. Honestly.
Yeah, you can download the Unearthed Arcana and stuff, but since myself and my players use the D&D character sheet so much, and the class feature variants being a thing, it's like, okay, I'm gonna want the book.
Yeah, that's one thing too. It's really nice to see all your race options, all your subclass options, especially with your building your character. Like it helps so much to have it on D&D Beyond.
Yeah, D&D Beyond has like the best character sheet interface I can think of. Like Roll20 is like okay, but it's just it can be janky.
Definitely.
It requires too much knowledge to get it right. Like we play with guys, and like we noticed this in our last game. Like somebody's adding like +10 to their 2-hit and on their weapons. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, how'd you even?
Yeah. It was just a mistake, man. It's just a typo.
I rolled 40 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's everything for Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. They have a lot of stuff like group patrons we didn't go into because I have no idea what'll be in there. I do like the idea that you get perks and buffs from working for like an ancient dragon. You get special perks. I don't know if there'll be like actual character buffs, like you get more strength or yada yada yada.
Okay, I can explain it.
Oh, you know?
Let me explain it. I do know.
Oh, okay.
So it actually was first introduced in Eberron Rising from the Last War.
Okay.
So you know how there's backgrounds like urchin or soldier or whatever.
Yeah.
So the system says everybody has the same background, and it is a group background basically. So
I like that.
I think that's cool because, like, in our game, like, it would make so much sense if our group had a group patron because we're the patron of like some
Well, if you're
black
all a part
dragon.
of the same church, if you're all a
Yeah,
part of a black dragon, right? Like we are right now, it just makes sense and it gives rules and more flavor to it already.
I think it's like way easier to bring a story of a bunch of characters together when they all have similar
And to
backgrounds.
give them sort of a goal that they can all agree on, because if you're working for a black dragon, you work towards the black dragon's goals, right? If you're working for somebody else, if you're already a part of like a church or something, then you want what they want, kind of thing, right? So that's
Yeah,
actually pretty cool then.
yeah. So you'll notice a lot of things in this book actually are taking things from Eberron Rising from the Last War and
Gotcha.
putting it, decoupling it from the campaign setting because
Hmm.
Eberron is a campaign setting, right? Like
Yeah.
not everybody wants to play in Eberron, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of good stuff in that book that belongs to other
Huh.
settings as
That's
well.
I've noticed Ebron is just very detailed, and I've really enjoyed what they have in there. I've also noticed that they have more rules for sidekicks, supernatural events, natural hazards, are
Mhm.
laying with monsters. I love that they're giving these other rule options. That doesn't it just takes less of a load, or more of a load off of the DM. So they don't have to make everything up. I like it when it's a little more streamlined like that.
Yeah, like how many times does somebody step into a pit of fire and you're like, how much damage does that do?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Or like, how does this work exactly? Or gas, dude? I've looked
mhm.
into gas. There's no real rules on how gas would work, like poisonous gas, if it's to travel in a certain area. Because I've been trying to work that into a campaign where you open a door and poisonous gas starts coming out. The way I kind of have it boiled down to is like it has its movement per round. It moves maybe 20 feet or something. If you're within it, you just make a DC save. But I would like more clarification on how fast it should be, how much damage, or what kind of effects it would have, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to scale it. I don't know how to make it too powerful, but not powerful enough. Um, like
Dungeon Master's Guide has some guidance
I've
on like
looked
that's
into it,
effectively a
but
trap.
I've looked into it, but there's not a lot of like really detail on like how the many scenarios it could play out in are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gotta be a little bit on you and a little bit of the Dungeon Master's
Yeah,
Guide
so
guidance.
I'm curious
Yeah,
to see what they say about that.
yeah, I think that'd be a good addition.
Hmm.
Sidekicks are interesting because some people you only have like two people to play a game,
Hmm.
but so sidekicks kind of let you have some
Mm.
kind of NPC type characters that are ran by the player or the dungeon master they're like full blown character sheets, but they're still characters that can level up. But
Oh,
instead of them
okay.
being like a barbarian, they might just be like a generic melee
Well,
fighter
I'm
type
thinking
thing.
it's almost like how you can like find steed. A paladin can find steed. It's like it's a partner. It's not a full-fledged thing, but it's like you control them. They have their own character. And it's just like because yeah, there's not a full-fledged character sheet for your
Yeah,
like Pegasus or your horse or whatever, right?
just a stat block.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like the idea. Okay, well, anything else you want to say for Tasha's Cauldron of Everything?
I don't think so. Yeah,
November
it's
17th.
or quite a bit of it. Expanded subclasses are good. Like the armor for the artificer in a previous video, like when we started thinking about homebrew items that represent the Avengers, like one of the things that comes up is like, oh, Iron Man's armor. Like that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Well, it just so happens there's an entire subclass dedicated to playing that fantasy, and it's the armor artificer.
Okay.
So, but it still might be fun to see if we can come up with like a magic item
Something
that
a
can
little
still pull
different.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm excited for it. I always just love it, like these extra books, because then who doesn't like new spells? Who doesn't like new subclasses? Who doesn't like new options to customize or like create your character? So
Yeah.
I think that's fun.
Sure.
Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed the video, you can subscribe if you like. That helps a lot. You can comment down below. Anything else you want to say?
No.
Cool.
Peace out.
Peace out, Potato Scout. Is that it or Girl Scout? I don't know. Thank you. Bye.